probably clicked this video because you have a lot of noise constantly being recorded in your vocal tracks when you do a vocal recording, and you want to know the different steps by which you can remove the noise from that audio track. Well, this is a video for you, and we're going to get into the first method of cleaning up.
And we're getting no younger.
So this is a vocal track we're going to deal with, and we have a lot of gaps within the track, within what they've sung, right? Let's listen and see.
Halfway there, I don't have to fake it.
Let's listen from here.
Gonna make it. I'm halfway.
So that gap, it's better you clean it up manually rather than relying on a plugin sometimes, because plugins might artificially remove some breath sounds which you really don't need to remove from a vocal track in my point of view. So I am going to manually remove it. So for that reason, I have a marquee tool selected on my second strip, and while pressing command, just click, drag those parts that you don't need, delete it. After you delete it, make sure you choose fade tool. I have a shortcut for the fade tool, so either you choose it here and do it while pressing command, or I have a shortcut with the letter F. So while pressing F, I just do a fade in and a fade out like that. Let's listen and see.
Gonna make it. I'm halfway there. I don't.
If you want that breath sound to be a little more natural, give a more liberal cut, like that.
I'm halfway there.
Did you hear that?
I'm halfway there. I don't have to fake it.
So that's kind of giving more space and more natural tones to the vocal. So similarly, I'll just go on and remove these places, fade in and fade out. Some places need not be removed because you might not hear any noise through it. Let's listen to this part.
I gotta get out of this town.
So if you want to look at the waveform a little bigger, the top right corner has a waveform zoom that you can just select. So sometimes when you have noise, you will see tiny spikes in the center where there's no vocals recorded. That's an indicator where there's noise, and you can just go ahead and remove it. So if I don't want the space, again, I'm going to use the same technique, remove them up. So you can go ahead and do it throughout your track and make sure you only have the vocals inside it and not any other noise. You don't have to be so like micromanaging kind of thing to the point where you start to remove these tiny details. That's a little extreme, because even on this track,
Whatever that means. Decided to.
it sounds like that. So if I need to cut a little bit, maybe you can. Let's try this and see. So a tiny cut over here.
Decided things.
See, do you hear that it's not having that flow?
What that means.
And it's sounding weird. So even if you push it further,
That means. Decided
so
to take part.
it's almost like you're having a break within the breath, and that's not what you want to give. So don't make very extreme changes like within each word and all. If you have like phrases, like you can clearly see that there's a gap, then I suggest this method will work when you try it on that area. The second method is actually using plugins, particularly the RX plugins that you get in Isotope. Those are my favorite noise removal plugins because honestly, they do a really good job in cleaning up, even cleaning up those mouth noises that you get when you speak or when you try to sing. You might get some clicks or pops because of your mouth, because of the way you speak, and that's normal. But then it kind of feels annoying in a music track when all those clicks starts to come out. The second method is to use a noise removal plugin, particularly D-click if you're doing it on vocal tracks. And I'll show you how amazing it is to use this. I'm gonna retain this part as usual, and without the D-click, actually if you listen to this part, you will hear a click sound because of, the mouth noises.
Whatever that means.
You heard that? So there's like this tiny grainy click sound.
What that means.
So we're going to remove that using RX D-click. And the cool part, turn it on. So far I've not changed anything. I'm going to select output clicks only. Listen to it. You're going to hear the click sound alone. and all the things that you heard right now will be just magically removed. Watch what happens. So I've removed that. So the plugin is basically going to remove all those click sounds.
What that means. Decided to take part
There might be a
in.
lot of click sounds happening throughout the song. Okay, so even here,
I'm
do you
halfway
see it says
there.
26 clicks repaired? Let's listen to only the clicks. I mean, those sounds are actually there on the track. So you're removing all of that away.
I'm halfway there. I don't have to fake it. Shake
So
it.
without the
Come.
plugin,
I'm halfway there. I don't have to
I mean,
fake
it's
it.
okay, but you still hear those click sounds coming through. So this plugin is just cleaning it up. And sensitivity, just adjusts how sensitive the click removal has to work. You can just move it up and down, but normally it works well with the setting that it comes with. So I always use it on vocal tracks just to remove those pop sounds and click sounds that you get because of their mouth noises. Very, very important and very useful in a vocal track. The third method is to tame the harsh and the daunting S sounds that you always have in your vocals. So whenever you have a word with S, T, P, D, all that are annoying because they're going to have these sharp piercing frequencies within those consonants. And so you're going to hear them kind of amplified in the mix because what do you do in mixing? We try to enhance things. Yes, we try to duck things sound, but when you enhance them, you have a higher chance of enhancing all these harshness in the track. So de-esser is probably the next best thing that you can apply in your vocals to make sure that you don't eliminate the S sound, because why would you want to have a word called harsh and not have S in it? Then it's going to be hard or whatever. So you don't want to remove the S sound, you just want to reduce it. Okay, don't remove it. That's what de-esser does. And I'm using Pro De-ess from Fab Filters. So let's listen to the track.
I'm halfway there. I don't have to fake it. Shake it. They call my name. With childlike
I don't know if
wonder.
you can see, but even the word child and the starting CH sound is actually getting reduced, okay? So we will try to listen to it.
Child.
All that you hear now will get removed later on. So let's see for another S. So at this part, there is this S sound that kind of comes through, right? So without the de-esser, this is what the track sounds like, particularly at that area.
I'm hurried to make whatever the hunger. I'm hurried to
The T
make
sound, that's what we're looking for in this particular phrase.
hunger. I'm hurried to
With the
make
de-esser,
hunger. I'm hurried to make
you will find that the T sound, that T sound just goes down, and you can adjust the range where you want you think the S sound lies at. This is a frequency part that you can choose and how much it has to reduce. So right now it's at 6 dB. Watch what happens when I put it too high.
hunger. I'm hurried to make what hunger.
I want you to listen to the T sound once more because you will find that it, in a weird way, reduces to a very high level. Okay, it just goes down like that.
No younger. I'm hurried to make what no younger. I'm hurried to make.
Now you don't want that to go down by what, like 24 dB, because that's just unnatural. So don't bring it that much.
No younger. I'm hurried to
Something of
make.
that sort is fine. So don't make your changes very extreme, because remember, when you remove noise, when you're trying to remove noise, you might kind of alter the quality of the track. So I suggest don't go beyond like 6 dB or 7 dB when you are trying to tame these S sounds or T sounds. So de-esser is a must in a vocal track. My favorite are Fab Filter de-esser, and then the RX de-esser, which comes with isotope. That's also really good. So try them out and you will find that your track starts to sound much more smoother and nice. The next noise removal method is these removing breath sounds that you have in between a phrase. So it's natural for a singer to just take that breath, and we kind of address that in our first point also. But do you want to remove the entire breath sound and just have, the starting part of all your singing things? Like, that's not going to make sense, right? No one is going to sing without taking a breath. No one is going to talk without taking a breath. So, if you actually listen to these legendary songs, these professional singers, you will find that they retain that breath sound that they take in the track. So, don't remove the breath sound entirely, or at least that's what I prefer not to do. Reduce it if you think it's quite harsh. If it's not harsh, I would say just leave it that way. But if you think the breath sounds are harsh, one, either do it with the Mandel method that I told you, but instead of cutting and removing it, you might put a fade in and fade out, so it gradually goes down and up. Otherwise, you have a breath control plugin through RX, so this is gonna remove the breath. Okay, so let's listen to only the breath sounds. That's gonna get removed now.
I'm halfway there. I'm halfway there. I'm halfway there. I don't.
So if you push the target level below,
I'm halfway there. I don't know.
the breath sound just goes off.
I'm halfway there.
You see, it's like so less in volume, but without the RX breath control,
I'm halfway there.
that's how it sounds with this.
I'm halfway there. I don't have to.
So that's brought it down, but now it's an exaggerated change that I've done. So I will never do it this much. It'll be very, very less. So
With childlike wonder, I've almost got none. I'm the greatest, no,
let's listen to that part.
no, and we no,
Yeah.
greatest no long, and we're getting no young.
Without the RX breath
The
control,
greatest no long, and we're getting
that's like quite harsh, but with this,
no long, and we're getting no.
it's just a little bit more controlled. So don't remove the breath sounds entirely. If you want to remove it, or I suggest reducing and not removing, either the manual method or rely on a plugin to just tame it and kind of control the sound rather than completely removing it. And the last method, which does not really come into a noise removal method, but something that's really important that you do before you enter into the mixing concept, is taming the entire track's loudness level. Now, we talked about gain staging in the previous video, and we talked about the importance of recording a healthy signal. But sometimes you might get an audio track from a client who has not gain staged properly for various reasons, and maybe they're not able to re record the track, or for several reasons, you might have to deal with a track that has inconsistency in volume, like what I have here. Clearly, in the waveform itself, it looks like certain parts are so less, while some are really high, right?
Take part in the machine.
Okay, I know it's already that it's gonna go loud. So, what do I do in these cases? I put a gain plugin. So, I'm gonna add utility gain mono, and I am going to automate it. So, click A, go to this volume and change it to gain, choose gain. And I'm going to bring down the volume of all the all the vocals that are going really loud, especially this section, right? So I'm going to press command, make sure marquee tool is on the second one. So while pressing command, click and drag the part that you want to change. Once it's highlighted, click on that part. Once again, click and drag it down. So you're controlling the volume, but you're balancing it out the right way. See, now I brought it down by like what, 8 dB?
Younger, I'm hurried to take part in the machine. I gotta get out.
Still there's inconsistency, but at least it's better.
I gotta get out.
Maybe not too low.
I gotta get out.
So if you think something is even louder, do the same process in a much more precise manner. Bring it down more. If you think something is too soft, like the section in the middle, like the section in the starting, that's like too soft, right? So you can push it up as well.
Feeding ground is made, ready to take.
So try to have a consistent volume even before you begin to process. And this is something important. You can consider it as kind of taming something that's not right, which can come under noise maybe, or you can consider it as whatever you want, but this is the thing. Just make the track more consistent before you begin to process. You might have plugins that can do the process properly, like compressor is there, but don't load up the compressor with a lot of processing, power with all these things. You just make the compressor work enormously. That's not going to give a nice natural output. So it's better you do this process first, and then you do the regular mixing processes, and that's going to clean up your vocal audio track so much that it's already going to sound good and neat without even adding all the effects plugins. That's what you need to hear in an audio track. So these are the different noise removal techniques that I always use on a vocal track. If you are new to this channel, I'm Florina Jane, otherwise known as Flow of Music, and don't forget to like and subscribe this video. If you have another video in your mind, comment that and I'll be happy to make a video on that. Send me your tracks for mixing and mastering. This is the email that you can use to send all your tracks. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in another video.